So you're basically saying that Ridley is trying to kill us so that no one will be left to oppose him and his organization? Kim asked in a fearful voice. I'm betting that's the reason, Ron nodded. If you think about it, he destroyed Japan and wiped out Yamanochi, and Ridley knows everything about you, me, Team Possible. I can't be sure if I'm completely right about this theory of mine, but it seems very accurate. And given what Gemini knows about Ridley, it's safe to say that my theory is probably correct. Ron, if what you're saying is true, then that means Ridley will probably come after us next, then attack global justice afterwards, Kim replied. We need to find a way to stop him. But how? We don't know where his organization is, as it's hidden. Hell, even where Ridley's whereabouts are unknown, Ron said. The files I just read also won't provide any crucial info on the Black Shadow itself, other than Ridley's past criminal records, his psychotic evolution. So I don't even know where we're going to find him, or Black Shadow. I don't know, Ron. I really don't know, Kim replied, not knowing what to do. Just then, Ron had heard Kim's communicator beeping on her end, and she looked to see what was on her side with a curious look. Who's calling you? Ron asked. It's Betty Director, and the message says that you're in the priority of one call, Kim replied in concern. Better answer it, Kim. Let's see what she wants, Ron urged her. Kim answered the call on the screen, and Ron's communicator switched over to a two-screen view. Kim was then shown on the left, while Betty was shown on the right, and as soon as Ron saw Betty's expression, he knew something was horribly wrong, because he noticed around the area Betty looked like she had been hitting a bomb, and Dr. Director also what looked like was shot in ash. She had a horrified expression on her face. Betty, what's going on? What happened? Where are you? Kim asked frantically in a worried voice. Kim, Ron, Dr. Director began in a frightened voice. Global Justice HQ was just bombed a few minutes ago by a strange-looking fighter that just vanished into thin air seconds after it fired those weapons at the building. Kim and Ron felt their hearts skip a beat upon hearing that, but it was nothing compared to what Betty said next. Gemini's dead. He's dead, she stammered, now tears visible in her eyes. Once Dr. Director said that, Kim and Ron both felt their bloods run cold. No, Kim stammered in horror. Damn it, I knew it. I knew it! Ron suddenly yelled. That bastard Ridley is going after everyone that knows about him. Ron, you don't know if... Kim started. I know for a fact it was him, Kim. Ron shot back. Remember my theory I just mentioned? This confirms it. Fury? What are you talking about, Stoppable? Betty asked in confusion. Ron then explained his theory about why Ridley and his organization bombed Japan in an attempt to kill him and Kim, and why they were attacking Global Justice HQ. Dr. Director listened carefully to every word Ron said, and then spoke up once he finished. I actually have considered that being a possibility myself, and after those files on Ridley, and showing what he's done in the past, it's safe to say that he's probably attempting to take over the world, first by wiping up all forces that might try to oppose him or expose him. Ridley somehow have found out that Gemini had been him eliminated, Dr. Director said with the sorrow and anger in her voice. Kim and Ron could tell how upset and angry Betty was upon hearing that her brother had been killed in the assault by the Black Shadow. They couldn't confirm it if Ridley himself was the one in the fighter that attacked Global Justice, but Ron had his own suspicions that it might have been him. What did this fighter look like? Ron asked. I don't have time to explain, Ridley replied. I called to inform you that Global Justice will be relocating your families to a safe zone until the Black Shadow is dealt with. Ridley is a far more dangerous threat than I could have ever imagined, and my brother is now dead because of him. After hearing Kim's report on what happened in the train yards, I've decided to move all your families to a hidden location far away from Middleton until the Black Shadow is eliminated. Now don't ask how long it will be, because I don't know. I've also got some disturbing news regarding Shigo and Dr. Drew Lipsky. Shigo and Drew? Oh no, don't tell me they have reverted back to their old ways, Kim exclaimed fearfully. No, it's not that, Betty replied, shaking her head. Shigo and Draken's home got invaded by a heavily armed masked thugs about an hour ago. They barely escaped with their lives. They'll be joining you in the secret location as well, and I'll also be assigning Agent Floyd Lawrence Nelson Rivers to your personal bodyguards. No way! Ridley's going after Shigo and Draken? Why would he do that? Ron questioned. Because we know them, Kim said. Ridley's probably going after everyone else that we know as well. My guess is now he's going all the remaining villains and ex-villains we have fought in the past as well. He's most likely doing this to incite the response from both of us. More like declaring war on us, Ron retorted bitterly and coldly. My thoughts exactly, Dr. Director said. I'll be arriving shortly to pick you and your family members up. Kim and family will be joining you shortly. So I've also enlisted the help of Team Go to assist in bringing your relatives and Kim's relatives over to the hideout. I also want you all to be ready for yourselves and prepare for my arrival. We'll do that right away, Betty. Kim nodded. And I'm sorry about your brother. I know he's a villain and all, but he was still your family. I know, Betty said, tearing up again. So many lives have been lost to Ridley and his organization. But I could promise you that we will find a way to stop him. Until then, we need all of you to be moved into hiding to ensure he doesn't get a chance to harm you too. I'll let my family know about this and then start us preparing outside for our arrival, Ron informed. Good. Make sure you only take what you need. I'll sign off, however. Global Justice needs me, Betty replied. All right, we'll get ready. See you then, Kim said. Then Betty signed off, leaving only Kim and Ron on the screen. They already knew they both had to take a look at the gravity of the entire situation. Ridley had truly intended to wipe out Team Possible, and this was quite a message for them was quite clear. Anyone who had been associated with Team Possible in the past, hero or villain, had been targeted for extermination. First it was Duffet Dementor, then the Yamanouchi Ninja School, as well as half of Japan, Gemini, and now the Black Shadow have set their eyes on Team Possible and their families next. For the first time, Ron and Kim were stuck in their fear, unlike anything they had ever felt before. He wasn't lying when he said Ridley knew everything about us, Ron said finally. Who? That metal suit freak that we fought in the train yards. He said that Ridley knows everything about us and our families too. I was right, Kim. That's a monsters to us all. Ron replied darkly. I know, Kim replied fearfully. I don't know what to do, Ron. This is like nothing we've never faced before. Not even Warhawk and Ramorga were just as bad as this. We'll have to find a way to deal with Ridley somehow, once we get to the secret location that Dr. Director mentioned. My mind's in such a mess right now that I don't know what to think, Ron replied, shaking his head. Same here, Kim replied. I'll see you in a bit then. You too, KP, Ron said, then signed off. Rufus had already woken up to the side of Ron's bed from a nap upon hearing the commotion and saw how scared Ron looked. This made the small rodent fear for his best friend. Ron, you okay? Rufus squeaked. No, not in the best at least, Rufus, Ron replied, glancing over at the mole rat sadly. The Black Shadow killed Gemini, and now they're coming off after us next, so we'll be going into hiding for a while, until we find a way to stop him. I don't know how long, but I hope it isn't forever. Oh no, Rufus replied sadly. Ron got up from his bed and began packing what he needed for the trip to the secret hideout. Fearing what the future had in store for him and everyone he loved, Ron wished that Yori and Sensei were still alive to help him guide him through the times like this, but he knew that he could never have that happen again. They were dead along with half of Japan, and Ron could only hope and pray that Team Possible didn't meet the same fate. He thought of his family, Kim and her family, her relatives, his own relatives, and everyone else he knew. There was no doubting any further. Ridley and his organization really did know a lot about him. Ron knew that as long as he was still alive and out there somewhere, Team Possible would never be safe along with everyone Ron knew he loved. What do we do now? Ron thought as he began packing. His chest still throbbed with pain as he opened the suitcase and began packing every essential item that he needed for the trip. But Ron ignored the pain as he continued to wonder about what to do with the Black Shadow and the red rage now within him. As Ron packed his things, he could have sworn he heard Apollyon laughing at his mind as he continued to allow despair and sorrow in his mind.